We are working on a list of common logon applications and users at each LEA. We heard from you, do you remember when we did that one bulk upload for you? We just took common logon and just updated it for ADE Connect. Wrongo! So what we're doing now is we're working on a report that says, hey, this is all of your users on these applications in common logon, so that when something comes over to ADE Connect that mirrors that, you already know, because you might go, oh my gosh, who do I assign this to, right? Well, here's the people that had this other application that is the mirror of the AZs. So that will help you a lot. Took us a while to do that. That was a big win, I think. And then we also, like I said, the bi-weekly. And we also have a requested communication from business areas, the ones that actually own the applications, to ADE Connect community. So we request when this one goes out, this bi-weekly, we also do the ADE support team, you, the entity admins, the IT communications team, and the ADE communications team. So like the Diane Douglas area communication team. So we're all on the same page. Miss Heidi Gray. I'm getting there. She wanted to know, yeah, where is that, Karen?
But it certainly is in QA on BA, QA, support.
Okay, so she'll talk about, yeah.
Go ahead. Well, just to say, I actually am aware that you have been asking for that, and we do have a report in the works for that. But I'm going to show you a little trick today that might help you in the meantime.
Okay, and I'm going to try to move through this pretty quickly. We also had some special consideration that just didn't really fall within some of those categories. Research solutions to manage relation for tuition out school cases. I don't know. I don't have personal knowledge of that, but we had some questions about that and ADE Connect. And then views for you, develop and support distinct use cases for online, for charter holders, and county level. What we heard was, Miss Darla, where are you? Miss Darla Eddy is with the Leona Group, and they have 26 one charter schools. That poor thing has about a billion. Can you imagine how big her entity admin page is of all of her LEAs? Holy moly. So what we're trying to do is create a view that is up at this level that will show what's going on instead of the onesie twosies. Also, those of you that are in a district with a big, huge amount of schools, right? You know, Mesa, Terry, how many do you have? Like 92?
130.
Huh? Holy moly. Yeah, so we're trying to help you out by creating those bigger level views. And then we've also got some counties that are wanting to do, to be able to service you better, a view of that. But that's very sensitive data. We can't just give them access. So we have to figure out what the view is to be able to help you. And then we had some other concerns. Oh, here's where it was. The collapsed application, meaning that after we ran out of space, we just didn't show you anymore. So Karen's going to show you that, hopefully. Sorting by entity ID is not logical to the field, so she's going to show you that win. We also put them in ABC order. That wasn't like that before, both your entities and your applications. So that's an easy thing, just something simple. By hearing you, we were able to do this. Request report of apps available in ADE Connect. She's going to show you that. That is currently in development. A report where users can select an ADE role and display all users assigned the role. That's in production. She'll show you that. Request for report for current common login access. That's one that I was talking about. That's completed. EA documentation and application and role spreadsheet. Basically, it's just going to be a spreadsheet for right now. and that's what she was talking about, all the applications that are in AD Connect and the roles assigned to it, so on and so forth. And what does it do, and so on and so forth, so you can make a decision. And I heard a great point, and I turned around to Karen really quickly today. You also said, it just went out of my brain. You also said that, you wanted what was the like of the new AD Connect, and what was it before in Common Logon, right? Yeah, so if we can get that in that report, that would be great. So our suggested, this is what we're working on now: complete any tasks that were listed as a quick win that have not been finished, and requirement documentation for the bundle approach, and if we're going to update the entity admin portal. So Karen is going to go into those. I'll go back to them. I want them to be able to see what you've done. Do you have any questions while she's pulling that up? Yes, Miss Bev.
I have a very easy one. Is it ADE no space connect, or is it ADE space connect?
ADE no space connect. Yes. Actually, I ran into someone in the cafeteria the other day that said, why is the small z and the big D and the no space and the I don't know.
My vendor won't change it unless we get it from you guys. So my vendor.
Didn't you send me an email on that?
Yes, and so we will, now the world knows, so now they will change it.
You can have her call me if you'd like. I know who that is.
Yep, she heard you.
Oh, is she here? Yes, sir.
Are there any plans to make it compatible with other browsers besides Internet
I know. Okay, so this is really, where is that stinker mark? AD,
Can you repeat the question?
what they wanted to know is, does AD Connect, do we have plans for it to work in other browsers? Now, let me just tell you this, the portal itself, where you use the applications, that'll work on any browser. It's the EA, that's, right? That's what you're talking about. Lisa, go ahead.
The product underneath it is a Microsoft product.
Right.
So it works best on Microsoft Pro.
What Mac distro should be?
Yeah, ADE is a Microsoft shop. What that means to you,
We're making sure that in the future that any browser is accessible. Some of the mistakes that we have learned is that we are kind of IE, and I know I've been in conversations to make sure that any browser is available and that we ensure that.
yeah, I knew all those answers, I just didn't want to be the one to say them. I'll be very honest. What else? While she's, yes ma'am.
It would be nice if you, the EA had the opportunity to assign relationship. Oh, go ahead.
If we could assign relationships to multiple LEAs in schools for one person also, we're a multiple, or charter management as well, and so I have to go in and assign it once and go all the way out, and so it takes me just to assign one district person around, 20, 30 minutes to all of the schools. It's awful.
Yeah, it's right now, to do an application to like 8 people at different schools, like fork in the eye, right? I know. Yeah, it's like 62 quick clicks, I know. So, I heard that the other day. I forgot who I was talking to. Maybe it was Darla, I don't know. But I said, why don't we just create an import feature for these folks? It's really, it's got a database, right? It's an application. Wouldn't it be nice that if you, I know. But wouldn't it be nice if we had a spreadsheet template for you? You could download the template, put in your information, and it's done. So that's part of that whole funding thing. We didn't actually hear that, believe it or not. We did not hear that on our focus groups. So that's why it wasn't captured. So this is now a recapturing of a new idea.
Additionally, did you know that if you assign a relationship but don't
Assign a role and let it sit overnight, then that person's role disappears, or relationship disappears. So I set up a person with all 19 of our things, but I didn't assign a role because it took me 20 minutes to do that, and then it was time to go home, so I thought, oh, I'll do the roles in the morning, and when I logged back in, they were all gone. I had to do it again because I hadn't assigned a role.
I don't know, have you also experienced that? Okay, so what happened is, she assigned, let's say 16 people to a school. Okay.
We have 18 LEAs in schools in total. I went through and took 20 minutes to assign all of the relationships, but my hand was tired at the end of that, and so I waited.
The relationships only. I didn't assign roles, and
I didn't do it. I didn't follow up with the role assignments until the next morning, and they were all gone. And I called the help desk, and they said that that's because I hadn't assigned a role and that it disappeared.
Yeah.
Yep, that is
Yep, I got that same answer.
where that I prioritizing that, honestly. And as Lori said, I do value the feedback as well. So what's happening is, you go in, and if you're ever on my entity admin training, one of the things I tell you is it's the relationship, think of two. So you have to assign the district charter school, then assign the role. That's how your user sees the application on ADE Connect, correct? But today, what is happening, to your point, is if you just go in and sign the school, the system says, hey, this is an orphaned person-entity relationship. I'm gonna clean it up. So what we are doing is making sure that that does not happen now. As I said, I've written a requirement, it's in development, I'll be the QA on it as well and get that communicated out as soon as that's fixed, but you're correct.
And that's because if you remove a user from a school right now, you can remove all the roles, but you can't remove the school association. So that's why it gets cleared at night. So.
Yeah, because we had other reports up in trying to, I'm loud, aren't I? In trying to assist all the use case scenarios, some of the feedback was, hey, we've got all these people sitting out here with entities, but there's no role. So so in the EA portal, entity admin portal, excuse me, you see where it says delete. So people try to click delete. Well, your access won't let you delete. That's an audit thing, right? You just don't want to blow away accounts. So the next best thing was, okay, I'm going to remove their role at least, so they can't get to an application they should not have access to, correct? So then we got calls that said, hey, I've got a person sitting out here with an entity. I don't like that. I'd like to clean the whole thing up. So we made a change to say, okay, if it's orphaned for 48 hours, is actually what it should be, then we're going to clean that up. But that causes a problem now, because if indeed you add the entity, but you wait a day or so to add the role, it's gone. So that's why that happened.
Karen, so when you change that, how are you going to go ahead and remove that relationship?
Well, there's a caveat there as well. So let's say you're doing a role that requires secondary role approval. The people who can approve that request to add the role have 7 days to assign, to say, okay, Betty Lou can have that role. Well, guess what happens? That gets cleaned up in the 2-day cleanup, because a pending role the system doesn't see a pending role request as one that's actually under the entity. So that gets cleaned up. So what we're going to do is make sure everything is pushed out to a window where there is no pending role that can sit there 7 days, and allow you at least a 7 to 10 day window to come back and add a role. Does that sound better?
I have a question on the secondary approvals. Is there currently, or is there plans to notify the entity administrator, the status of that?
Absolutely. That's one of the things Lori referred to. So there's a lot of things that we have written the requirements on that are in development. But of course, then we have to QA it to make sure it works right, not a quick fix that causes another problem. And then we'll communicate that out to you when it's ready to go. But I also, the focus group that Lori and I spoke to earlier this year, I will keep them apprised as well. They'll be my UAT, my user acceptance team.
And we have other focus groups that are happening to make sure that we continue to, get feedback from you and work on changes. So, okay. You guys sure? Okay, well.
And if, you know what, if we miss the mark on anything, what we'll do, Karen and I will do, is we'll take screenshots and whatnot and make sure that Annette gets that along with this presentation so she can post it and get it out to you. So it's not your fault that we've all run over time, so.
Okay, so if you're an entity admin, and only an entity admin, you have access to the reports tab. I don't even know if you're all aware of that. Yes. And in the reports tab, someone mentioned reporting earlier.
Can you hear her okay?
I'm used to standing in front of the screen. So you'll notice we have a brand new report that just went in last night. Here's your common logon application access report. This report will tell you what active user has access to what common logon report. So it looks a little different from the others because we actually just pulled it over from common logon. I'm just going to pick a system here and LEA. And then if I want to say who has this adult ed, a good one. Hopefully we'll get a result. I don't know what the common logon reports are.
What's a good one? Elite. Okay.
Of course, to see the screen on this screen.
Right down.
Up one.
Okay, and if I get it? Screen is no arrow. That's another good point. We did not filter based on where you are an entity admin in ASCUS Connect because we're really not showing you anything that you shouldn't see. So you're able to look at all the common logon applications. This all the way up the screen. Well, it's got first name, first name, last name, username, so that's your person's username, the entity they're associated with, the entity name, the common logon report, and then the last time they signed into common logon to access that report. So it could do, if Elite, had 20 people there, it would show those people. And then that helps when you transition, so if you get a communication that says this is now an ADE Connect, to answer the question of who has it in common logon, you can run this report. Does that help? Yes.
Can it also be set up to search like, here's this person who has a common logon, how do you say that?
Well, Well, this is the report right now. You can, why don't you submit that to the ADE Connect at az.gov email box? But this is the way it's working now. You would have to do your entity and then your application.
You're asking for an enhancement to what we've done?
Right.
Yeah, sure. No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
So just, if you would send that to me, I would appreciate it.
What's the other big thing that you can show?
The other one is, that's right, I'm probably down to 3 minutes. On the entity admin report now, so someone asked about,
This is yours. Your question, okay?
so what excites me about this enhancement? You already have this report, but let's say now I want to see who has AZ dash, correct? Before you just got a dump of who has AZ dash, but it didn't tell me the role necessarily. Now, so two things about this. Yeah, two things about this report that I like now. When I click dash, guess what? It filters for only the dash roles. So that means you as an EA can say, oh, you know what? These are my dash roles, and I can go into the EA portal and give them these roles. There's no guessing now about what roles should be assigned to give someone dash. So I thought that might be a quick win until we can get the other application role availability report published. So that's kind of a backdoor way to understand what roles get what app. Does that make sense? Helpful? Oh, good. I was excited about that one.
So what you're looking at is this person right here has assigned, so you were asking who had the role of whatever in your district. You pick the application, and then you get it. And then you get the person that has that role. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, do I have to select an individual role, or can I shotgun them all out in one shot?
As an EA, you get a drop down, right, of only the districts where you are assigned, or the entities where you are assigned as an EA.
There's the select all.
And then you do your choices, and then view your report as everyone who has those roles in that entity.
We use it at the state by doing the EA to create the mailing list to give you guys the information on the updates. So yeah, so we always pick the EAs, right, and get those for the whole state. But you can do select all right there, and you can find every single person with every single application in your district, or even by school. Cool.
Okay?
Okay. All right, so if you have, the focus groups are going to keep going on. If you have a strong urge and desire to be on the focus group, just send me an email, and we'll make sure that you're included. We've already had a webinar. We webinar'd the focus group participants before we presented to you what their findings were. So they've already heard this, those that were in the focus groups to get with us. So we invite you. Thank you. Have a good one.
Real quick, we're going to let them go until 12:15, if that's okay, because I know reporting is very important to all of you. So hang tight for lunch. And I believe we're going to have taco salad for lunch, so just in case you were wondering, okay?
Go ahead and start. I figure you want Keith and I each up here for a minute and then we'll go. So, I'm Randall Love, I'm the project manager for AZEDS. And this is Keith Brown, who's the business analyst on AZEDS. I like to refer to him as the AZEDS report guru extraordinaire. And we're going to talk a little bit about data quality, the importance of data quality, and I want to give you a little bit of background as to some of the decisions that went into making AZEDS. And then Keith is going to talk more about some of the reports, some of the processes, and how some more information on the report, especially the Tran 11 report. So my favorite quote because I'm an IT guy, I do a lot with data, is the first quote up there. Data, data, data. Can't make bricks without clay. That's from Sherlock Holmes. Data is so important, it was needed before computers were invented. And what's really, if you think about it, when we're dealing with systems all the time, it's the data that makes the system good or bad. If you think about a brick, and it's the foundation of a house. And if that brick crumbles, the house is going to crumble. It doesn't matter how good the house is, it'll eventually fall apart. So it's really important that we have good, clean, quality data in order to actually maintain good systems. Now there's only two ways to validate your data. You can do comparisons between systems. So we'll be comparing the data in your systems to the ADE systems to make sure that we have good quality data. Or you can do audits. Now we actually, we did some work with our ASCUS vendors